Jessica, thanks for talking to us. Let's start with the US dollar. It's had about 2 days of gains. We see it reflecting in our rand, which is much weaker. But you'll tell me it's dropped from some of those highs.
Thanks, Devin. Great to be with you. Yes, that is exactly true. Right now, though, we are seeing the dollar head for a weekly gain, which is quite interesting. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index up about 0.3% on the week, up about 0.4% on the day. The index has been lifted by gains against the Canadian dollar. But like you mentioned previously, we did see the dollar pare back some of those gains a little bit earlier in the session after we saw that U.S. ISM manufacturing data fell. So that's what led to the dollar paring back some of those gains, but it still looks set to close in the green. In terms of the broader equity market, we're seeing it gain some steam as on the back of tech shares rallying, the NASDAQ 100 advancing after Amazon came out and said it's going to be opening some new grocery stores. Apple came out, its chief executive saying some positive comments, such as one that he says Apple is very, happy with where the company is right now and where it is going to be going forward. So that is what is sort of moving the broader equity rally upward.
I see you had an interesting day as far as retailers are concerned in the U.S. The Gap is one of the biggest movers. Tell us about that.
Yes, Gap, very interesting performance today, rallying nearly 24% after it announced that it's going to be spinning off Old Navy. Analysts really praising the news, praising the company, saying this was long overdue and that now it'll be likely that we'll see a better valuation for Old Navy. In terms of reorganization plans, though, the Gap announced that it's going to be closing about 230 locations in the next 2 years. So while some may view that as a negative, some analysts are saying that will actually allow the Gap and some of its brands that it's associated with become stronger.
Jessica, finally, Brent crude oil has seen a significant drop on our side here, down 2% when I last checked. What's behind that downward momentum?
Yes, to end off the week here, we are seeing Brent in the red, declining more than 2%, like you mentioned. And that's really off the back of U.S. factory data that came in a bit negative, consumer sentiment data that came in a bit negative earlier. And that sort of reignited fears about global demand and concerns in that regard. So we also are seeing some thin trading volumes that's adding to that downward momentum there. So that sort of explains the trading on the day. And looking at the oil market a little bit more broadly here, February was a really great month. WTI and Brent posting gains, WTI rallying more than 6%, and that's really off the back of OPEC showing strong commitment to its deal to reduce output. In fact, we received some data today showing that OPEC's output fell in February. Saudi Arabia really showing its commitment with its compliance to the deal at about 166%.
Jessica Summers in the U.S. with the latest on the markets there. Thanks very much for talking to us.